In Southern California, we have about 2,000 officers that are participant basically throughout Southern California.
They have their own group connection and network. They're able to share their experiences with one another.
无论面临怎样的困难和限制，南加州特殊奥运会的运动员们从不退缩，提醒我们生命中的真正价值所在。在特殊奥运会的舞台上，我们看到的不仅是运动的竞争，更是人性的展现。我们见证了特奥运动员们的汗水和泪水，他们的笑容和骄傲。这是一个关于勇气、友谊和团结的故事，一个关于超越限制和突破桎梏的故事。他们的成就提醒着我们，只要心怀坚定的信念，不畏艰难，我们每个人都能散发光芒，展翅飞翔。南加州特殊奥运会 SOSC 是一个改变生命的地方。在这个特殊的舞台上，我们见证了特奥运动员们的奇迹与成就。他们不仅是运动的冠军，更是希望的象征。他们突破了生活的桎梏，用无悔的付出和坚持，谱写出了属于自己的故事。
您好，我是沈玲，欢迎收看这一期的《天下纵横谈》。特奥会是一个具有全球影响力的非营利组织，专门为了身心障碍的运动员提供支持还有服务的。在每一年，有数十万名的志愿者都可以参与这个活动。今天我们一起讨论特奥会。
Hi, I'm Kelly Pond, and I'm so honored to be coming to SkyTalk to talk about Special Olympics Southern California.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Charlene.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Great.
Busy. We're having fun in our spring season.
I bet, huh? And you are the CEO of Special Olympics Southern California, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, tell us, what is the mission of Special Olympics?
Special Olympics transforms lives through this power of sports. We serve children and adults with intellectual disabilities with year-round Olympic-type sports, and it's all about empowering the athletes, giving them the self-confidence, the independence, improved health, and then creating inclusion and acceptance in the greater communities.
其实啊，特奥会啊，他们有特殊的使命的。这个特殊的使命呢，可以让更多人了解到到底特奥会的目的还有意义在哪里。Kelly, how long have you been with Special Olympics? It's been a long time, right?
Yeah, you know, I started as a volunteer, so I will first just say volunteers are the backbone of our organization. I started as a volunteer over 20 years ago and have been working off and on for Special Olympics since 2001.
2001, so that was really 20-something years ago. For the whole journey, started as a volunteer all the way to now as a CEO. How did you feel?
Well, I always felt like I just wanted to help as much as I can because I was so inspired and moved by the mission. I love how our Special Olympics programs celebrate people's abilities. We bring people with and without intellectual disabilities together and celebrate how we all have something to celebrate.
And what is that one thing that you think for volunteers, for athletes, for families that can celebrate within Special Olympics?
Well, we have all kinds of activities happening in our spring season, and then our spring season culminates with our Summer Games Championship competition, and all of our programs are free to the athletes and their family members. And so I invite anyone to come out to a Special Olympics event. Summer Games is June 10th and 11th at Cal State Long Beach, and we also have local competitions happening every weekend. And so if you come out and you're able to really see the athletes' joy, courage, determination, you will be able to experience the mission of Special Olympics.
How about the families? I bet the families who have someone who has special needs probably is very different than any other families, right? How do you cope with them, or how do they cope with their kids' special need, and at the same time work with Special Olympics?
Yeah, you know, if you talk to our Special Olympics families, a lot of them will tell you that they have their own group connection and network because they're able to share their experiences with one another. So Special Olympics brings families together who are, you know, having similar experiences. And what I would say is that families that have a child with an intellectual or developmental disability, a lot of times what Special Olympics does is it just creates an opportunity, an atmosphere where their child can shine, whether it's child or adult, because Special Olympics is for all ages. We serve little ones as young as 2 in our Young Athletes program, and we have no age limit. We have an 83-year-old bocce ball player. So we are a program that is for life.
You must have seen, since for you being special, you have been with Special Olympics for 20 years. You must have seen a special athlete that has changed from the very beginning to how they completely grow out and to shine, to tell the world that how wonderful they are. Show us some of the examples, or tell us what's the journey for them.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And I will say, I have been so lucky to see so many different examples of athletes that are starting out. I can think of a couple specific examples because we have an athlete leadership program where athletes are trained to talk about how Special Olympics has changed their life. And many of our athlete leaders and spokespeople, they started Special Olympics perhaps reserved, not comfortable, interacting or communicating with strangers, let alone in public. And now they're some of our greatest spokespeople. As a matter of fact, I always prefer to have an athlete speak over myself because you will hear, and I know you'll have the opportunity to hear their story personally and what Special Olympics means to them. They're our greatest advocates. So really my job is to find opportunities for people to hear from the athletes.
当然啦，今天非常谢谢 Kelly 来到我们的天下纵横谈。其实呢，整个社区呢，当然不只是需要有人来帮忙我们所谓的特奥会，也需要像你一样的人，所以整个社会可以变得更加的和谐。你有信心可以让社会变得更好吗？参加特奥会可以让你的信心变得更好，可以让整个社会变得更加和谐。执法火炬跑 Law Enforcement Torch Run (LETR) 是一个旨在提高人们对于特奥运动认识以及筹集资金的组织。自1981年开始 ，LETR 就成为了特奥会最大的公众意识还有筹款的团体之一。
Hello, my name is Scott Ogata, and I'm here to represent the Law Enforcement Torch Run (LETR). I'm also a police officer for the Los Angeles Police Department, and also I've been a coach, a volunteer coach for the Special Olympics. For the last 33 years.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Charlene.
Hi,
how are you?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Scott, a little bit earlier, I did hear you said you've been with LETR for 30-something years.
I have. I've been a coach for the Special Olympics for 33 years. I've been a police officer for the last 28 years. So basically, I've been a coach longer than I've been a police officer, but ultimately, ever since I came on the job, I realized that Special Olympics was part with law enforcement, so I became involved with the Torch Run, and been involved ever since.
I understand that you've been involved for 30-something years already. That's actually a very long time. Can you please tell us, how did you get involved at the very beginning?
Basically, when I was back in high school, we had some of our high school coaches that were involved with Special Olympics back in the day. They offered an extra credit assignment to us. When I was in high school, I was involved with basketball, football, and baseball, so I got the opportunity to be part of organized sports and realize what it did for me in my life. And so it was a way for me to be a participant on giving that back to some of the athletes. And once I got involved, it's just an extra credit assignment. I pretty much got hooked with the athletes and became more active as a coach throughout the next following years.
Oh, you mentioned that you're a coach too. For 33 years too?
Yeah, so ever since I became involved in high school, I graduated into basically me and my good friend ultimately wanted to take more of an active role. We kind of caught the bug working with our athletes, and we became more of a participant role and in our community as far as our local area. And basically, I became a basketball coach back about this is my 33rd year now as a basketball coach.
So for all 33 years, you've been a basketball coach?
Yes.
Wow,
yeah,
that's actually
I've done other sports as well, but ultimately, primarily basketball I've been the basketball coach for the last 33 years.
Wow, okay, you're a coach, you're deeply involved with Special Olympics, but tell me a little bit about this law enforcement torch run.
The Torch Run basically was, it's the largest public awareness vehicle and grassroots foundation fundraiser for basically law enforcement for Special Olympics. In Southern California, we have about 2,000 officers that are participant basically throughout Southern California. It started back in 1981 by a police chief in Wichita, Kansas, who just wanted to create an opportunity for his officers to become involved with the community, and they did a local, basically a torch relay for their Special Olympic program. At that time, they had about 6 officers involved, and they raised about $300 for the time, and that was back in 1981. Today, worldwide, the law enforcement torch run has over, I think, 100,000 officers involved. And we raised close to $90 million worldwide.
You guys are considered as the guardian of the flames, as in Chinese 我们说是圣火的守护者。你们呢不但是把 flame of the hope 呢直接带到了每一个人的手中，当然也带到了这些有特别需要的运动者的身上。当然我想要知道 Sky, I would like to know, you must have met so many different athletes, so many different families, at the same time, so many different needs for the different people. How do you try to really try to accommodate to all of them, or how do you try to tell them to accommodate to real life?
That's a great question. Ultimately, for me, it's been, I always say when I talk to my families as far as when they come out, it's about the opportunity and experience. One, the opportunity is for their athletes, the kids to come out and have the opportunity to, like as Kelly said earlier, basically the opportunity to perform, to play, to have the camaraderie, to be a part of a team where basically they might not have been included back when they were in school, but to be a part of a team and organization to compete and to be like some of the athletes that they emulate on TV. Second is the experience is for the parents who basically, this is an opportunity for the parents to allow their kids to come out there and be a part of an organization where one, they could be a fan. I like to say, let me do the heavy lifting, and me and the coaches will create an opportunity for them to come out there and perform. And ultimately, as a parent who has to deal with their children for a lifelong time, they can have an opportunity to come out as a fan and just watch. And then they can be as active as they want or not as active as they want. We as the coaches will take care of all the heavy lifting and let their athletes basically perform. And it's always been pretty good. My biggest encouragement is for the parents to, when they ask about the program, is just to come out and watch one of our practices, and basically that once they see all the athletes that we have, tall, short, basically they're all going to be able to fit right in. And most of the time, they come and join the program.
今天非常谢谢 Sky 来到我们的天下纵横谈，跟我们提到了呢，其实特奥会是一个特别的组织，不过其实你我也都很特别。特别的地方在哪里呢？特别的地方就是你我都可以成为一个支持特奥会的人。如何支持呢？只要你人到心到，就是对他们最好的支持。
特奥会全能提供各种奥林匹克比赛项目，让身心障碍儿童和成人不断有机会锻炼身体、展现勇气、体验快乐，并且分享天赋、技能和友谊。这些活动不仅让他们获得自信，还能够让他们更好地融入社会，实现自我价值。特奥会的存在给予了身心障碍人士和他们的家人希望和支持，让他们感受到社会的温暖和关怀。